So today we're playing Rampage, an absolute blast from the past. This is so nostalgic for me. This is one of the very first games I ever played with my brothers. Fully co-op as well. It's so cool. I don't remember the last time I played this game. It wasn't like 20 years ago. I did play this one a couple of years ago again. Okay, so we have quite clearly we have Godzilla. We have King Kong. Now, who is Ralph? Oddie, any ideas? You used to watch those monster movies. Any idea where Ralph possibly came from? No, me neither. No idea. Oh, the bath lady. This is... Oh, fuck's sake, that sign's electrocute my ass. I believe that these women, depending on the colour of their clothes, gives like that colour more points. Is that right? Yeah, but I think there's something to do with bonus points depending on what they're wearing. Let's eat this little guy. Yeah. I was going to say, I never understood the guy eating a sausage. Does anyone know why he's eating a sausage? Aren't they all meant to be like scientists or something? I don't really know the story of Rampage. Yeah. What's really funny, when you think about it, we're playing the bad guys really. We're destroying all these like cities around America. Yeah, they're very, very short, aren't they? God Christ. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. When I was a kid, I always used to like jumping on top of the buildings and just diving off just in time when they blew up. That's a bit lame, innit, when you think about it? Like, yeah, this is back in the days, and the kids nowadays got these really massive open world games with like the online multiplayer. They're playing with their friends, and we were jamming to stuff like this, Rampage. This was the experience to have this one. I'm sure like George, if he eats these red girls, I think he gets more of it. Oh, I plucked her right out of the bath. Was Rampage a arcade game, first of all? It started off as an arcade, then it got home consoles. Was it on NES as well, or was it just a Master System?
I think it might just been a, yeah, I think it was arcade. I think that's
Maybe like a Sega exclusive, maybe? But yeah, this is one of the very first games I ever played as a kid. It was, wow. This is very, very nostalgic for me, this one. And there's a funny story, and Oddie would know this, because he was over at my house at the time, but we were playing this game when we were kids, and back then this game felt like it went on for 100 years, because it's very, very repetitive, and when you're kids you just don't have the patience, you feel like this game goes on forever. And my cousin, being an absolute asshole, was dancing around the Sega Master System like an idiot, and we know how temperamental those old consoles were. Even the smallest vibrations will just freeze the game, and he was dancing around like an idiot, and he completely destroyed, well, froze the game, and it felt like we were playing it for 3 days. And I tell you what, we were absolutely livid, and we still don't like him anyway after all these years later. Los Angeles. Yeah, there's one thing I would say about Rampage, and I hate to say it because, you know, this game means a lot to me because, again, this is part of my childhood, but playing it these days, this game is very, very repetitive. I don't necessarily think it's a game kids should really revisit. To me, it doesn't offer a whole lot. Not anymore. But back in the days, it was great. It was great fun. But it's just a little too basic, a little bit too repetitive.
you just destroyed it.
Yeah.
That's all you really did.
I also did have the Rampage on PlayStation 1 as well. I think it may have been... No, I think there may have been 2 Rampages on PS1. Or maybe they went under different titles. But One of them might have been like Back in Time, and what that was, you could play, I think it was a 4-player co-op. But one of the things I really liked about that game was it had mini games, and the mini games were actually more fun than the actual campaign, the actual like the real game. Playing the mini games was just a lot better. It felt like a Mario Party or something like that. So yeah, the PS1 one I actually would probably enjoy more than this one. That's true. And I do know they bought out a Rampage for PlayStation 2, didn't they? And I saw it at a car boot sale once, and I know Audi wanted to buy it, and I talked him out of it, because I thought it probably wasn't worth like the price they were charging, because even for a car boot sale, they were trying to sell that game for like 6 or 7 quid back in the day, and I was like, that's actually a lot. Nowadays, retro games are much more expensive. Everybody knows the prices of retro games now. You can't get deals at the car boot now like you could do 10, 15 years ago, because everyone has phones, and when they're bored, they can just look these games up in 2 seconds and find out what the actual, worth is. It did. Yeah, car boot sales aren't good as for buying retro games as it used to be. But yeah, Audi was going to buy the PlayStation 2 version of this game, and I was always curious because, of course, I used to play Rampage as a kid, but I have no idea how that game actually even is. I might check it out one day. But again, I think Rampage is one of those games that I don't think it could survive now. I just don't think it has enough going for it anymore. Well, then again, I said that. Look at Pac-Man. They did that Pac-Man revised, didn't they? The special edition one, and it did really, really well. They added like a lot to it, so that did pretty well. So maybe you could do something with Rampage, but I don't really know what you could do. Yeah, definitely. That's true. Yeah, Earth Defense. Yeah. Yeah, because there are a couple of games, I won't say like exactly like Rampage, but they deal with like that kind of, I don't know what that genre is called, is it, no, I don't know what it's called, I'm not even going to attempt it because I might make myself look stupid, but it deals with like those kind of monsters like Godzilla, King Kong. There's a certain name for it, like I think, but there are games, like you said, Earth Defense Force is one that kind of does that. If you want that kind of experience, that like these huge monsters destroying cities and you're defending it or whatever. And I know there's 1 or 2 on PlayStation as well, I think, and I think there's one called like Destroy All Monsters, was that one as well? Destroy All Humans, Destroy All Monsters, where you also play as a giant oversized animal terrorizing whatever town you're in, and you can fight other monsters and stuff like that. I know there's also I think it's a Mega Drive game where you can actually play a monster fighting another monster in a city. I think it's got a bit of a top-down view as well. Do you remember that game? That was another one when you get to play those kind of like monsters. I don't remember. I never actually played it, but I saw it on Games Master, I think, a long time ago. Yeah. Is it King of Monsters? It might be. Yeah. Oh, it might be a SNES game. Same kind of thing though, where you're both battling as monsters and you're destroying a city while you're at it and stuff like that. But yeah, I can't see Rampage ever kind of returning anytime soon for obvious reasons. Yeah, you have to do a hell of it. You need to get a really creative person that can take that game into a different direction, I think, to breathe more life in it. But I don't really know how you can go about it. But it doesn't matter because this is part of history. Rampage is a complete classic. It really is. I mean, I played it back in the days. If you look at Rolf though, he's got one squinty eye. One of his eyes are busted. Was there like an exclusive monster in different versions or another monster? As I don't think Ralph was possibly in one of them. I think it might have been something else. A giant rat. That's cool. Ah. They couldn't. Okay. Yeah, maybe the sprite was too different, so they just wanted to just take the outline of the said like whatever one. Yeah. I remember the one I really liked was the PlayStation 1 one. There was, I think it was a lobster called Ruby. I loved that character. I thought that was so cool, like a giant lobster. Ruby, I believe his name was. Or her name, I can't remember what sex it was. Yeah. Yeah, one day, maybe I'll play that one on stream. If anyone actually gave a shit about watching more Rampage, which I highly doubt, maybe we will break out the PS1 one and play some mini games. But I think that kind of works more if you have more players, because these mini games were catered around 4 players, I believe, and not necessarily 2. Mini games with 2 players ain't really the same. That's more. It's not much of a party, is it, with just 2? Not really. So unless I can get 2 other players, I got 2 other bros I could get around and play and have a laugh. But yeah, I don't know what the demand is for that. Oh, actually, in the next stage, come to me. I want to show like a feature of this game as well. What a feature I always found quite weird, and I'll show you in a second. Okay, Josh, if you come to the left-hand side of the screen, I'm just going to show you something. Go all the way to the left. I always find that weird how you can shortcut across the screen. I never understood why you could do that. You didn't know that was a thing? Maybe that's quite good for strategy. If you're running out of time, which I don't think you ever will, I can say, quick, come to the left. I can punch you to the other side of the screen. What? Oh, wait a minute. How did you do that? Oh, the tank pushed you over. Oh, okay. Yeah, not sure why that's a feature. But maybe it could add a bit of gameplay there. They kind of map around. Maybe they didn't know how to program them properly, so it's like it was all like one thing, if that makes sense. Yeah, is that a sausage or is that a piece of bacon? Or maybe a prawn? I can't tell what that is. Answers down below. What is that guy eating? I'm curious. But who really is the coolest monster of all? Is it, you know, it's got to be a toss-up between King Kong and Godzilla, doesn't it? It has to be. Oh my god, can we talk? Oh, I was not going to even mention that monstrosity. When I heard the news that Rock was doing Rampage, I had to see it straight away because, you know, this is like a nostalgic childhood piece for me, so I had to watch it. But as anything The Rock touches, it turns to shit. You knew it was going to be terrible, and I went to cinema to watch the Rampage movie, and it was just as you expected. It was terrible, as every Rock film turns out to be. You know, all awful, all waste of time. Oh my god, Hercules was... I watched Hercules, I couldn't tell you a single thing about it. It's just one of those complete charmless pieces of crap, you know? Oh god, let's not talk about The Rock, because I know he's the highest paid actor of all time, everyone loves him, but my childhood, it was Arnold, Sly, Van Damme. Those were my heroes, and when I see what The Rock churns out, it's complete crap. He's just not on the same ballpark as those guys. Yeah, well, Arnold and Van Damme and Sly, they ain't the greatest actors in the world, but Rock ain't any better, neither. He might have good charisma, but it's just his film resume. His film resume is just terrible. He just does nothing worth watching. Apart from a franchise he's possibly stealing, like Fast and the Furious. Remember when he tried to take over from Vin Diesel, didn't he? But nobody likes Vin Diesel, so everyone's on the Rock side. And I'm thinking, yeah, but it is Vin Diesel's baby, really. Or Paul Walker's, I don't know, but I don't really care about Fast and Furious neither, really. Well, it's Hollywood. Nothing's too many these days. They'll keep turning them out as long as they're making good money. But yeah, so there was Rampage starring The Rock, which was obviously really strange to see them bring this to life. But I always thought, I was like, what can you really do? Just giant monsters like terrorizing a city and Rock's got to save it, and it's exactly as you expect it to be. It just doesn't work, and you knew it was going to be bad. The kids will like it, obviously, because you've got these giant monsters battling and stuff like that, but anyone that's got any taste, you're just thinking, oh, it's just... There's nothing unique about it. There's no interesting thing about it. Anyway, I don't think we should talk about that movie anymore because, yeah, like, that film just sucked. No. I mean, maybe we should blame Vince McMahon for letting Rock go to Hollywood in the first place, you know? Maybe he should have said, no, you're not doing Mummy 2. You're not doing Scorpion King. You're going to wrestle Austin for like the 30th time. Oh, God, I don't know. What's going on with Vince now anyway? I think Triple H is taking over now, isn't he? At WWE. But everybody wants Shane to take over. Nobody wants Steph and Triple H to take over because everyone loves Shane. What's Shane doing? Has he been pushed out again? Pushed out the family? Oh, I don't know. No. Is there anything else we've got about Rampage? Do you have any trivias about it we could talk about?
Yeah, 2 versions. The arcade had an extra character.
Well, did the arcade have 4 characters or just 3?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think it's a rat or something.
I would like to see the giant rat in play because, you know, I'm a fan of giant rats. You know, they're fun, aren't they? No. You can use these guys to blow up buildings. Now, I don't know if a good strategy is to let them simply put their detonators down and let them destroy the building, because it will end the level quicker,
Yeah.
but you get less points if you don't destroy all the buildings.
Probably. But then again, people do matter this game.
Yeah,
It's their lifestyle to build up.
Yeah, with growing up with the point system, I never found point systems really any use apart from, you know, arcade top scorers. You want to put your name on top of the arcade, but for like home consoles,
Yeah, it's perfect.
yeah, I always thought nobody wants to beat your score. Nobody gives a shit about that, especially if you're at home with like your brothers or whatever. No one cares about points.
Well, and the worst thing is, you know, you close your opponent. So, once
Yeah,
you
sure.
close close,
Then again, point systems are usually linked with extra lives and stuff. So you know, like Streets of Rage, you'd be like 25k threshold extra lives. So maybe point systems were useful for those kind of things, like getting extra lives for power ups or something like that. But for like anything else, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it was. It kind of is. The music, I forgot how repetitive the music is. I liked it when I was a kid, but there ain't many tracks in this game, is there?
Is that just what, 1, 2?
Is it just one track? I haven't really been paying attention, so I'm going to listen out a bit harder than that. Yeah. I do remember another thing with this game. I don't know if it's a bug or it's part of the gameplay. I can't remember, but sometimes when you eat people, they get stuck in your teeth, and it gives you lots and lots of points. It stacks the points. I don't know if it's a feature for like... Yeah, they get glued to your mouth, and your points just keep going up and up and up. I think it might have something to do with the different color. I keep saying it, but different colors of the people you eat. I think they, like, you know, George is red or whatever. If you ate like the girl with the red dress, I think it works for him. I don't know. Oddie, do you know? Do you have any idea what I'm talking about? Oddie's probably thinking they did a movie on Rampage. Yeah, I think it really is the same track over and over again. Yeah. Another thing about this game, you can actually punch each other like this. I guess that you're always fighting for possibly for the player one, because it doesn't make any sense, does it? Because this is a purely cooperative game. You're trying to destroy all the cities, but you can fight each other. Is the idea that you also have to fight and destroy at the same time because one of you needs to lead the scoreboard, leaderboard, maybe? Because you can eat each other too, can't you? Like when you both get killed off. So maybe that's part of the gameplay. Maybe I can kill you and take your points, but nobody cares about individual points. Everyone wants to work as a team. So again, I don't know what the purpose is really. When one of us is close to dying, we'll try it. I'll kill you, I'll eat you and see what happens. Now, if it had like a double dragon twist where only one of you could get into the girl's knickers at the end, and you've got to fight for it, you know, I mean, that makes sense. But in this game, it's not like, oh, who's king of the monsters, is it? It's just game over, right? Or you win. If there was a purpose behind it, my point is there's no real purpose in fighting each other because no one cares about points. Yeah, it really is the same one piece of music. But this is a Master System game, so you have to be a little bit more lenient on it. And the graphics, in all honesty, if I had to talk about the graphics, they're actually quite nice. The sprites are really good, very colourful. And I love these backgrounds with the silhouettes with the planes. It's very, it doesn't cost much power, does it? But it does work. It sets the tone for the game. Yeah, we don't know how many levels. I can't remember. No, it's not. Rampage isn't long, but when you're a kid, this game felt like it was like an epic game. It felt like it went on forever. Like I said, but patience as a kid, you just didn't have the patience as kids do now. Now kids are playing like I said, like 100-hour RPGs or JRPGs or MMOs or whatever it is. I mean, if I showed this to my niece now, she does like retro games. I've made sure she's learned how to game properly, you know. I just got her into the old school games. But even if I was playing this with her for a bit, I can't see her kind of being interested. Not really, because how can you when you've got Horizon Zero Dawn to play? It's like, this is not going to really stack up, is it? It's not going to capture the imagination these days. But again, it's a product of its time, isn't it? So it doesn't have to, really. 86, this game is older than me. What's amazing, really. And there's no difficulty level in this game, neither is there. There's nothing like to increase any of that. It's like I said, it's just point scoring then, isn't it? It's like, how can I top my points next time? But nobody cares about that. Yeah. do want to try and eat one of these women and get it stuck in our teeth, because I've mentioned this, and if no one actually seen that before, they might be quite curious about it. So I'm going to try to attempt that. Okay, Josh, you're yellow. Hit this woman out of the bedroom window and eat her. All right, maybe, you know, when they're in the windows like this, I think if you actually try to directly punch them, you eat them out of the window. Maybe that's when it gets stuck in your teeth. But yeah, you get loads of points for that. So that would be cool to see. Yeah, imagine that. What I'm trying to. It's a strange mechanic. I kind of want to show it off because I don't know what the purpose of that really was. I'm not too sure, but it's definitely in this game. Trust me. But the controls are quite nice as well, aren't they? They're very tight. The controls do work quite well. Yeah. Like latching onto buildings, it makes sense. The controls, the graphics are all good. Even the sound effects are good. The music would be good if there's more than one track, because the music ain't too bad. It sounds alright, but it's lacking like more tracks.
You could have added decent content.
Yeah, it's true. So really, you could improve upon this, you know, obviously, like back in the day, but you take what you could take back then. Now, there are some interesting little things that happen, like, you know, with the... I think there's a train that comes by as well and drives through the level in tanks, and, you know, there are a couple of little bits and pieces to see. I think there's probably stuff we haven't seen yet, too, so... If we just keep playing this game, you might bump into some of them. None of us have actually been killed yet, so I do want to kill you off, Josh, just to show it. Let's do that, actually. Let me beat the hell out of you. Because even I'm curious about that. Yeah, let that tank hit you. I'll hit you from this side. Because don't you wave like a flag and you become very small and I eat you for, and maybe your points turn into mine? I'm not too sure, but we'll find out. Yeah. Like I said, it wasn't something that you used to do as a kid. You never really beat each other up. There's no real point. Or just drown yourself. That works. Oh, actually, get that yellow woman. See if you can actually jump up in... Oh, fuck. Really bad timing. So if I eat you... Look at that pass. That's a nice little detail. Oh, this should put you on top of the building. Okay, if you try to bite that girl with the yellow suit, the tank just drove into the water. That's amazing. Like maybe latch yourself to the building. Yeah, she's right in the middle. I don't think it's possible. I don't even know if that's going to work anyway. I just kind of want to prove it, really. It is a weird mechanic. Or a bug. I don't know. Should we just see if she drowns? Because everybody else drowns. Let's see if she's going to get away with it. Yeah, how can she swim and nobody else can? I love how the tank just drives itself in the water. How about this guy? Look at him go. Okay, let's wait for his bomb to go off. Okay, so the music actually picks up then. So is it on a time limit? Like if we don't do the level at a certain time, what happens? Game over? Yeah, there isn't a timer, so I don't actually know what happens if you just wait it out. No. It'd be nice to be able to latch onto buildings when you're jumping off. I don't think you can though. Like, yeah, you have to be above them. Well, it's actually quite tricky though. Right, these levels are over before you know it, aren't they? That car looks a bit like the Jurassic Park car, doesn't it? With the camo. I don't know why. It just does. What's it meant to be? A battle car or something? Yeah, but it's shooting at us, isn't it? Oh, the red woman. Okay, I'm red. I don't know if it's gonna work. No, I can't seem to get it to work. Is there any point like eating the people out the windows or eating like the turkey or like a bath lady or anything like that? Is there any point in doing this, or is it worth just destroying the building? Because the... Right. No. Yeah, I'm sure these levels have trains, don't they? Oh, go on, Josh, try one more time. So we're still trying to do that like little thing, that weird thingy mabob bug or whatever it is. Shit, no, it doesn't work. I don't know why. It is in the game. Yeah, how do you get civilians stuck in your teeth? Come on, make it. Oh no, way too far. Have we seen a train yet? I'm not remembering it wrong. I'm pretty sure there is trains in this, right? Or have I gone completely crazy and there isn't?
I think
I'm sure there's a train in this game. Maybe there isn't. Maybe I'm talking absolute bollocks. I thought there was. Baltimore. Wasn't that like the Tarzan Boy band? Baltimore? Wasn't that what he was called? Jungle Life. That was a great song though. Shout out to Beverly Hills Ninja, Christian Bale's favourite movie. And Chris Farley's best performance as well. Chris Rock is what's his name? Farloo or something? Failoo? I can't remember his character's name, but what's his name? But he went all out, didn't he? Remember that scene when he was in the stripper joint when he's dancing with the girls? Chris Farley must have been on. Yeah. Chris Farley was really fucked up on cocaine. There's no question about it. I mean,
he was great.
I love that though. I don't. It's, you know, when you've got these guilty pleasures where you're kind of embarrassed to say you liked it. Beverly Hills Ninja is definitely one that I used to watch all the time. I just really like it because I'm a fan of martial arts. And one thing about Beverly Hills Ninja, say what you want about how shit the comedy is, but that has legit good martial arts scenes in the film, and I love martial art movies. So shout out to the martial arts in that movie because they were good. They're impressive. And Inspector Lindley's in it as well. Neo himself. Well, he looks a bit like Neo, doesn't he? And that scene when he's get like oh, I forgot his name. He plays Liu Kang in Mortal Kombat. I don't know his actor's name, but when he's getting beaten up at the end, and like Chris Farley comes and goes like, "Nobody messes with my brother," and they play like kung fu fighting. You know, that is such a great scene as well. That really hyped me up. Yeah, he was. Like I said, just because you're fat doesn't mean you can't do shit. I mean, Sammo Hung proves that. You know, fat people can absolutely be badasses and do the business as well, for sure. Chris Farley did it. Sammo Hung did it. Steven Seagal doesn't do it. See, Steven Seagal doesn't do anything. Oh, lightning cloud. Have I ever seen this before? Get hit by lightning. See what happens. Okay, not much. No, I don't remember it. This fucking track is just going on and on. Just, I know, it really is one piece of music. Holy shit. Do you know if the arcade version had one song, or did they have more? Yeah. Does anyone care about Rampage anymore? Is anyone talking about this game anymore? Probably not. Have you ever seen a speedrun? One thing I do like about video games, I do like the speedrun community. I don't watch it as much as my brother, but I do find like I am curious about watching those, how people deal with like breaking the game, and I wonder how Rampage would be for a speedrun. You know, because you can't really do a whole lot. So
It's just too basic.
I was going to say something stupid then, but I don't know. These levels are not random generated, are they? They wouldn't be. They would be built, wouldn't they? Like where the buildings are positioned, because that would breathe a bit more life into it if they had like random generation on the buildings. But then again, who's going to memorize like 40 levels of this? Maybe they don't need to make it random, but yeah. Isn't Philadelphia? Shout out to Tom Hanks. I've never watched Philadelphia, so I've never seen it. It's meant to be good though, but yeah. Everyone knows The Burbs is Tom Hanks' best movie. Anyway, The Burbs is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, it's not the man. What? Yeah, the man with the one red shoe. It's not that. Remember Copper Mountain? Copper Mountain with Jim Carrey. Oh, that was a hard one to watch. If you want to watch a bad movie, Copper Mountain starring Jim Carrey. Fucking atrocious. That was more like a music video slash advert for a skiing resort. Yeah. It was horrendous. Yeah. After watching Copper Mountain, you would never thought Jim Carrey would have ever been anything, would you? You said this guy's just irritating, you know, he's nothing, but look, he's went on to become probably the biggest actor in 94, 95, because he did The Mask, and he did Ace Ventura, and he had another one, didn't he? He had 3 big hits in a row.
Yeah, I think that's just 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, 3 huge franchises. I'm like, holy shit. Dumb and Dumber, maybe? I can't remember what it was. It might have been Dumb and Dumber.
Actually, I'm pretty sure you're right. Yeah,
And they all would have made a lot of money. So Jim Carrey back in the mid-90s was just incredible. You know, he did so well.
yeah.
I'm talking about video games and movies. He just did Sonic, didn't he, Jim Carrey? That's interesting seeing Sonic, a Sonic movie, isn't it? What do you think of that? Have you seen that yet, the Sonic movie? I watched it with my niece, and you know what? I thought he did a pretty good job. Like, you know, what can you do with a hedgehog that runs a million miles per hour? You know, what can you do with that, really? It is what it is. I mean, it is okay for kids. But, you know, one thing I would say about video game movies, though, you just don't get very good adaptations. You know, 95% of the time they're terrible. I could only name very few that are worth your time, and one of them would be Silent Hill, begrudgingly, because Silent Hill, the movie, isn't great. But at least you had Christoph Gans, who's actually a pretty creative director. He has a good vision, and he captured some of the atmosphere of it. It completely lost the plot halfway through, but... Oh, there you go. Oh, fuck, I jumped. She was stuck in my teeth for a split second then. Did you see that? I don't know if anyone saw that. She was stuck in my mouth, I swear to God, for a second. But because I jumped, it kind of erased it. Maybe it's rare, because she had a yellow shirt on, and am I player 1 or 2? I can't even tell. I'm red, aren't I? So maybe it's not nothing to do with colour. But talking about video game movies, so Silent Hill, serviceable, just about. The Silent Hill 3D was one of the worst ones I ever seen in the cinema. That was just a travesty. What they did with Pyramid Head in that movie, I mean, Pyramid Head shouldn't have even been in the first movie, really. But the only real good one I think the best one that no one talks about is Street Fighter 2, the animated movie. That is by far the best adaptation, because how do you adapt Street Fighter? Is one-on-one. And they turned it into like a really, really good little manga movie. With great art style, and again, beautiful choreographed fights, great soundtrack as well. Just don't watch the Japanese soundtrack. Usually you would want to listen to the Japanese one, but that's a case where the Japanese music was terrible. No, it didn't. And the American soundtrack was really, really good as well. They actually had like Them Bones by Alice in Chains, and it just had a really great soundtrack. Oh, New York, and you know, didn't the end of King Kong take place in New York? So it has to be New York. That makes sense, right? King Kong, New York. Empire State Building, right? It has to be. I mean, what other town city could be bigger than New York? It has to. This has to be the last. Was it 4 or 5 stages per one? No, there should just, for the last bit, there should just be the Empire State Building. It should just be a giant building in the middle of the map, shouldn't there? Just to kind of give it a bit of difference. That'd have been pretty cool. Why not do that? Maybe for pure space they couldn't design a building which is just huge, you know. Maybe they couldn't do it. I don't know. Nowadays they would have, but yeah. Yeah, that's true. Well, I probably played this game when I was 4 years old or something. I've probably been playing this game, not all the time, obviously, years and years apart, but I've been probably playing this game over a span of 30 years. Imagine that. It's mad, isn't it, when you think about it? Yeah, it's amazing how old it is. We've got a lot of respect for it, obviously. I know it's repetitive. I know it's not like the greatest these days. Of course not. You're not gonna be breaking this one out for gameplay. Not anymore. But it had its place. Yeah, we're almost. I think we're almost there. I mean, it is a bit of a long game for like a retro game. Some of these games are like 20 minutes long. I think I beat Kung Fu Kid. No, is it Karate Kid or Kung Fu Kid? I beat Kung Fu Kid on here in about 25 minutes. Alex Kidd in Shinobi World. That one was about 25 minutes. Shinobi World really was short. I thought that game was longer. So this one is what? How long have you been streaming for? For almost 40 minutes. So yeah, that is a bit of a lengthy one, really, for like a Master System game. Oh, I was going to say to Josh, one game we have to play. We have to play Masters of Darkness or Master of Darkness on Master System, because that is basically Sega's Castlevania.
Yeah, well,
And I don't think many Nintendo fans would actually know that game even exists.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the greatest covers you've ever seen.
Yeah, if you want to see a really, because one thing about Sega Master System, covers, box arts were fucking horrendous. Even as a kid, I'd look at it and go, "What is this?" I have one for pro wrestling. There was a guy headlocking his own head. He had no head. It was in his arms, and I couldn't make sense of it. It was nonsense. But Masters of Darkness, the Castlevania rip-off, basically, that cover was amazing. So if you want to take the time to look at it, go watch it. Oh God. I just don't understand that. Sega, you're producing all these amazing games, but you don't want to pay more than like $20 for like someone to do the box art. Oh shit, we're finished. Oh, this you've got to admit, this is a nice what do you want to call this? Outro, possibly.
The last level, it should have made made it a little bit different.
Yeah, well, my idea was just a giant Empire State Building kind of going up, because that would reference King Kong, right? That's what this game really is.
Here he is, the main character.
There he is. Yeah, it's blasphemous that we never played. Look at George's face. We never picked George. Why is his name George? Is that a King Kong reference as well? Maybe based on the writer or whatever, or a director. Oh, he's waving off. See, now that is a really nice ending to a game. That's really cool. They didn't have to do that.
No. There you go, 35 minutes. We finished the whole thing.
Yeah, about 35 minutes. Anyway, that is Rampage, a classic. It is what it is. It's not the most exciting game these days, but back in the day, I loved it, and I still have a very a soft spot for it. This is why I'm playing it on the stream. Anyway, with that, what are we playing next? We are playing Bonanza Bros next. This is another one I played, because we're going to break out some Sega Master System games. So we're off to play some Banana Brothers. Banana Brothers? Are they called Bonanza Brothers because they look like bananas? Because they do, kind of.
No, they're thieves, aren't they?
Yeah, but they're shaped like bananas, aren't they, in a way? Aren't they like got yellow skin and like rounded top heads?
No, I don't know. Just think this look
I don't know. They look like Lego.
Yeah, it is bizarre.
Alright, Oddie, I'll catch you in a bit.